Hey guys, and welcome back to Suicide Taboo and Life Without You. Today we're going to talk a little bit about depression, just distinguishing the difference between being a bit low and actually being depressed, and kind of the stigma a bit around that, people's thoughts of what depression is to what it actually is as well. So I'm going to kick it off. So a few years ago, I didn't even really realise what depression was. And to me, I just thought people are just in a bit of a bad mood, maybe. Maybe they're making a bigger thing out of it than it really is. And I just thought, well, they've got nothing to be sad about, you know. They've got really good friends, they've got a nice flat, they've got a good job. And I think, well, what on earth have you got to be down about? Like, come on, pull yourself together and stop moaning about it all the time. And that's literally how I felt, and I feel really horrible saying that now, but I think quite a lot of people still do feel that way, just because you don't understand it and what it actually means. So maybe Abbie will give us a little insight of what it's actually like.
Yeah, like everyone's experience will be different, and there's different types of depression. You've got like clinical depression, you've got manic depression, SAD. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it. There's lots of information online, so we're going to put some links at the end where you can find out more. For me, it's like, yeah, it can come in like either like episodes or bouts that could be like short bursts of like just absolutely horrible. It can be long and last for a really long time, and most like include the same kind of thing for me. Like I end up being a bit bedridden. Like my bed is my safety net, and you just like mentally lose your motivation for things that I lose my motivation for things. So things that usually make me happy, or spending time with my friends, speaking to people I care about, like you just lose your interest in it. Like you want to, you've still got it in you, like, but I used to like these things, and that's what hurts the most actually. You feel like a different person when you're depressed. You know, you know all these things about you, and it's just not happening anymore. Like work might be like extra difficult, and you just can't bring yourself to think about it. So like it really distorts your thoughts and makes you question like, who am I? Like it's just really blurry.
I bet it's quite worrying as well, because you don't know when you're going to come out of that.
That's the worst.
So you're just constantly, and that probably almost makes you go down a bit more, because you're thinking, well, what if I'm stuck like this forever? And
yeah,
so
not knowing when you're going to come out. And also, for some people, well, like with me, not knowing when it's going to happen, it could just happen like that. Loads of people always ask, what's your trigger? Has anything triggered it? And it's like, it's helpful and useful, and sometimes you wish there was a trigger, but it's not always an event that brings depression on. It can just come and like really hit you. But because of like all those feelings, can you imagine like being really demotivated, you've got no inspiration to do anything, your body naturally just withdraws and you become really, really tired. Like even physically, you just got no energy to do anything. You're lethargic. I either have sleeping problems where you can't get to sleep, or you wake up in the night, or you need sleep all the time because you're just so tired, because it just drains you. It takes everything out of you.
No, but then you can't really be bothered to talk to friends as well about it, can you? And if they're maybe saying, oh, you know, what's up, and you're thinking, oh, well, I can't really be bothered telling you because I'm in such a hole at the moment that you don't understand.
Yeah.
And I think this is a bit of a key point for friends to realise that you don't have to understand, but as long as that you just show you're there for them.
Yeah.
Because I think we're very much like that. If Abbie says to me, you know, she's having a bit of a down spell, and I'll be like, okay. And beforehand, maybe I just want to try and cheer her up all the time, and tell her silly jokes, and she's thinking,
I do appreciate,
you know, it's not really helping, Sophie, but I know what you're trying to do. But now I'm a bit more kind of, okay, well, you know, talk to me about it if you want. Just explain your feelings so I can understand it a bit better.
Definitely. And like, I think what's really useful, depending on where people are practical things. So like, obviously you live in Bournemouth and I'm in London, but so like, because you lose the motivation, you lose energy. Some people like find it hard to like brush your teeth and have a shower. I know it sounds really basic and that, really, like, but you just can't. It's so hard to explain, but like you literally won't. And eating, like, so some people might like, or a nice thing to do would be to bring around meals that people can put in their freezers, so that, you know, they've got something there and they don't have to think about it. Otherwise you won't.
Minimal effort, basically,
Yeah.
that you have to go to.
So just little helpful things, or just encouragement to actually do things, and then celebrating the small successes, being like, oh, that's good, you know, you did one thing at a time, and oh, that's good, like.
Yeah, don't feel like
Not
you've got to do
patronising,
all the things you normally do. Don't feel like you've got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, yeah, just one step at a time, and be like, okay, well, I've managed this bit today.
Good.
And maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if you don't manage it, don't feel bad either. That's another thing, like, you've got to be
Beat
okay with yourself.
up sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think the difference between being low, that of course we all experience as lows in life, and we all go through events which can be really hard. But depression, it's like it's controlling, like you don't have control over it, whereas when we're low, well, even when we're low, sometimes you don't feel like you've got control over it, but you know eventually you'll come out. Whereas depression, it's almost like you're chained to something. It won't let you go. It won't let you move on.
I think when you're low, you can be cheered up as well. But when you've got depression, you can't really. It just goes straight over, and you just think, nah, not.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
No. But yeah, I think if it gets to the point where you're thinking, I've been low for a very long time, and it's really starting to affect things, affecting friendships, relationships, work, and you just can't. It's feeling like you can't be bothered with anything anymore. That's your time really when you should be seeing the doctor and just explain a bit, because there are medication about, and there's people to talk to, and there is advice. So I think that's like the most important. Don't just let yourself go into that lull and be stuck in it.
And also for friends and family, don't assume that that person's being like, well, yeah, they might not be themselves, but they're not, because often you can be like, oh god, they're acting weird with me, or like, oh, why didn't they come to that thing? Like, they know it's important to me, and like maybe dig a little deeper when you're asking how they are, like, because surely your friends and the people that you love, you know, I'm sure they wouldn't want to upset you.
No, exactly.
I think it's natural to be like, oh, like, but actually maybe the support is all there, or that, you know, could really help them.
Okay, so yeah, that's been our vlog on depression today. We're going to put a few helplines at the bottom and websites for advice and help, good support groups and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.